Meet Brooke Elliott, our May Employee of the Month. Brooke is a fantastic employee and coworker. She always has a good attitude and is eager to help in any way she can. Brooke always takes initiative and is amazing to be around. Thank you, Brooke, for your contributions to Terwilliger Plaza.
Thank you, John.
No, thank you.
Well, here we are with another awkward online meeting with recorded thoughts. If you are anything like me, you really miss the opportunity to gather together in person. I know that sometimes we wonder why we have to go to another meeting, but I hope this helps you realize, as it has me, that those meetings have valuable information to share, but in many ways the meetings are more about getting together and building community. You've all done a marvelous job in the face of these difficult circumstances. You've been flexible and creative as we face new challenges daily. We see each other in the halls and say hello, but we aren't supposed to stop and linger with each other and with the members. We can't gather together in groups. And when we can't gather, it's difficult to maintain that feeling of community, that we are all in this together. But you have faced that challenge and you've thrived as a community and as a team in the face of difficult challenges and uncertainty. So here's hoping that we can get together soon in larger groups, in person, and share those common experiences. You are all doing a tremendous job. I'm proud to be on your team. Thanks for your great work.
In honor of June being Pride Month, Terwilliger Plaza would like to recognize and celebrate the acceptance and importance of diversity and inclusion on June 19th in the auditorium. We will be holding a t-shirt design contest. The winner of the contest will receive a $25 gift card of their choice and will have their design printed on shirts and handed out to employees. Please submit your t-shirt designs by June 10th to hr@terwilligerplaza.com.
Hi, my name is Phil Incorvaya, and I'm with Blue Tiger Leadership. We've had the pleasure of working with the management team at Terwilliger Plaza for the past couple of years, and we've been asked to share a tip for dealing with the pandemic, social distancing, quarantine, and all of the general interesting times we're living in under COVID-19. The tip I'd like to share with you is about breathing. The first thing I want to talk about is the difference between chest breathing and stomach breathing. Chest breathing tends to be the kind of breathing we do because we are stressed, very emotional, anxious, tense, or feeling out of control. The way chest breathing feels is if you put your hand on your chest and try and make it do all the moving when you're breathing, picture yourself taking a lot of quick, short, shallow breaths and moving your chest as much as possible. This may also create tension or pain in your shoulders, in your neck, in your head, or in the muscles that you're trying to force to open up in your chest to get a good lungful of air. The kind of breathing I want to contrast that with is called stomach or abdominal breathing. Now, put your other hand around your belly button or just below it, and keep both hands in place. This time as you breathe, try to take a long, slow breath in, moving only the hand by your belly button and moving the hand on your chest as little as possible. So let's breathe in through our nose and out through our mouth. How'd you do? Were you able to keep the hand on your chest fairly still while bringing the air all the way down into your stomach area and your abdomen? If so, you may have noticed that you felt a little more calm. The Mayo Clinic, Navy SEALs, lots of different organizations have all found studies that controlling our breathing is one of the biggest and easiest ways we can use to control how we're feeling. It can lessen feelings of stress or anxiety. It can make us more calm and less emotional if we notice that we're responding in any of those strong ways to a situation or just feeling that way in general. One specific practice that I'd like to introduce to you all is something called box breathing. Box breathing involves a 4 count of the following things: taking a long inhale through the nose, holding that breath in for 4 seconds, taking 4 seconds to exhale through the mouth, holding for 4 seconds, and another 4-second inhale through the nose, hence the box. I'm going to go ahead and put a graphic up here so that we can all do a little box breathing together. Okay, everybody ready? Gently let all your air out and get ready to inhale through your nose. Go. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. All right, how'd you do? Box breathing can be a little weird at first. When you interrupt a breathing pattern and breathing normally, it can put you a little bit in your head. It can make you feel a little dizzy or lightheaded. All of those things are totally okay. Please remember to practice sitting down for the first few times in case you do get lightheaded. If you want to add to the stress-relieving benefits of this, you can go into a dark room and sit somewhere comfortable on the floor on a cushion or on a chair or your bed to help you focus on the breathing even more. I hope this tip has been helpful, and we're looking forward to talking to you again in the coming months. Bye-bye.
June 19th marks a special celebration for communities around the United States, celebrated as Juneteenth, a combination of June and 19th. The holiday recognizes when the United States ended its historic practice of slavery, legally and in the real world. In this sense, Juneteenth is a day for commemorating the freedom of people living in the United States. In honor of this holiday, HR will be providing food, African American history, and each employee that stops by will receive a Juneteenth button.
Hi, Twilliger team. This is Melissa Augustine. I'm the Director of Community Life, and I'm here to talk to you today about wellness. HR asked me to provide you with some wellness tips, and my tips may feel a little more unconventional. I'm not going to tell you to do burpees and squats or wall sits or go for a jog in the park or meditate or do some yoga. I'm going to talk to you today about something that has helped me during this time and for the past couple of months. It's definitely a stressful time for all of us. It's stressful on us personally. It's stressful us when we're at work, and it's stressful when we leave work every day and we go home to our families and to our friends and to our life that we have away from our jobs each day. And so what's helped me is writing in a journal. And so I brought my journal for you today, and I keep it really simple. What I do, because I'm not much of a writer, I don't want to spend a lot of time writing at night. And actually, this whole idea of writing in a journal came from a friend. Back in March, I was on a call with a friend, feeling really down, as I'm sure all of you have felt throughout all of this, feeling hopeless, and just trying to manage my emotions while trying to be in control. I'm a mom, and then I go to work every day as well. And so I was at that time feeling pretty hopeless. And this friend talked to me about her journaling that she does. And I've always known this friend to journal. And at that time, I was feeling so desperate to find some way for me to channel my emotions. And she had challenged me to buy a journal. And so I got my journal in the mail, I ordered it. And then it was, what do I write about? I experienced feelings of fear. I don't know if I want to write down everything that I'm feeling. And so there was a long period of time, and I'm not going to tell you how many days that the journal sat on my nightstand unopened, but I was on a phone call one day with my brother, and we had this great conversation about art and everything that he's been doing to feel better, and the way that he channels his emotions and his energy, and trying to bring positive energy to his day. And we got off the call, and he sent me a text, and the text basically said, something to do, something to love, something to hope for. Try this in your journal. And so I opened my journal that night, and I wrote down something to do, something to love, and something to hope for. And that was all I did. And the next night I opened it up and I read something to do, something to love, something to hope for. I didn't write anything. I went to bed thinking about that. And it became my mantra, I'd say, for a few weeks. And then I decided to do something about it. So to answer, what is my something to do today? And so I wrote down what I was going to do, something to do just for me. So I made it very much about what I was going to do for me, because much of my day is spent taking care of others, taking care of tasks, responsibilities at work, responsibilities at home. And then I also answered something to love. And I answered something to hope for. And the something to hope for, I think, has really been a strong one for me, because there have been times I feel like hope is lost as we're in this time that we are. And this has really helped me, challenged me to think about what there is to hope for. And so my challenge for you, like my friend and my brother challenged me, is to perhaps buy a journal, or to take a pad of paper and to write down something to do, something to love, and something to hope for. And then see what happens with that. Maybe you write that down and that's your mantra each day, and you go with that and you answer it in your head. Or maybe you challenge yourself and write it down. Maybe each one of these you do each day. So you write down something to do for yourself that day, and the next day is something to love for yourself that day, and then the next day is something to hope for. Whatever you choose to do with this, my hope is that you accept this challenge, and I hope you experience the positivity that has come out of it for me. And it's my gift to share with you. And I hope that some of you might reach out to me and tell me how this has worked for you. I love Terwilliger Plaza. I love what I do here. And my hope is that we get through this like we have so far. No cases, and we have a great team. And I wish you all the best. Be safe. Have a great day.
Hello and welcome to All Staff Fire Safety Training. This is a brief refresher on previous training you've received during orientation or in your departments or other places. A fire is any situation where there's visible smoke or flame, or where the alarm system has been activated, whether automatically or manually. All fire alarms will be treated as fires. The acronym that helps you remember the steps necessary during a fire activation is RACER, R-A-C-E-R. R stands for rescue. Rescue anybody in imminent danger at the source of fire. This may mean entering a member's apartment and rescuing them from the apartment, either by assisting them to ambulate outside of the apartment or using a wheelchair or other assistive device. This will depend on that member's service care plan. A stands for activate. Activate the emergency response system by pulling the fire alarm pull station nearby, as well as notifying the front desk by pressing 0 on a nearby phone or the maintenance channel on your radio. C means contain. Close all doors and windows as far as possible as you retreat from the initial fire location. This cuts off oxygen feeding the fire, and it also erects physical barriers that limit the spread of flame and smoke. The major cause of death in most building fires is smoke, thus limiting its spread. It can have a tremendous impact on the number of lives saved and on preventing building damage. E stands for extinguish. Extinguishing the fire is a viable solution in certain situations. One of those situations is when the fire has not spread beyond its immediate point of origin, and it has not spread to additional flammable material. Do not attempt to extinguish the fire if this would place you or the others at a substantial increased risk of harm, such as smoke inhalation, heat, toxic fumes, hot embers, or other reasonably identifiable hazards. Do not attempt to extinguish the fire if the air is not safe to breathe. If the fire has not depleted the oxygen in the room, then you may attempt to use a fire extinguisher to extinguish the fire. Another criterion for extinguishing the fire is making sure that your exit is clear, that there's no imminent peril, and that your evacuation path remains clear. You need to be able to fight the fire with your back to the exit. Lastly, you need to reasonably believe that the fire can be extinguished with the use of just one fire extinguisher. If that is not the case, do not attempt to extinguish the fire. Procedurally, the PASS acronym underscores the steps necessary to properly use an ABC fire extinguisher. P stands for pull out the pin. A stands for aim at the base of the fire, not at the top or middle of the fire, because you need to aim the extinguisher at the fire nutrients, at the material that's actually feeding the fire. S, squeeze the handles, and S, sweep slowly from side to side. The last step in the RACER acronym is R, and that stands for relocate. Assist members with disabilities to migrate from the immediate zone of a fire through the 2-hour rated fire doors on the same floor. This is otherwise known as a horizontal evacuation. Different members in Metcalfe and Terrace may have different assistance needs depending on whether or not they have any disabilities, such as mobility, hearing and sight impairment, or cognitive impairment. Details of the assistance needed should be integrated in each member's service plan, along with the predetermined caregiver staffing arrangements and allocated transportation assist devices to accommodate the needs of these members in case of a fire evacuation. An extension of relocation beyond the 2-hour fire doors is what's called evacuation. This is a full-fledged exit of the building and should only be initiated when the fire involves more than one floor or when the fire marshal or fire authority instructs you to do so. In such cases, elevators should not be used in the building where the fire is located. Descend via stairwells only while providing the assistance members need as anticipated in their service plan. It is acceptable as necessary for the fire response or member safety to use elevators in the adjacent building beyond the fire separations. In such cases, the evacuation requires moving the members to the ground level and exiting the building across the street. To protect members and staff, the fire doors will close automatically, and staff should not open the doors except to relocate members. If you are not directly involved in the relocation efforts, stay where you are. Do not move from zone to zone. Only a limited number of staff are designated to respond to the scene of a fire, namely the caregivers on that floor and the maintenance staff. All others should remain where they are, or in case of evacuation, proceed with evacuation. This is very important to reduce the spread of smoke and flame and to maintain the compartmentalization of the buildings. Thank you.